Hi all, welcome to week 3 lecture 4. So in this lecture we are going to see something about file input output operations, that is how you are going to deal with files and how you are going to perform the read, write, open, close operations on the files. So what is a file? File is a collection of related information. We have a name for the file. It's otherwise called as a named location on the hard disk. So here we are going to use files to store the data permanently on the hard disk. It is not happening in the case of a RAM, that is a volatile memory, but hard disk is a non-volatile memory where you can store the files permanently. So Python provides some of the basic functions to perform some of the operations on the file, like opening a file, closing a file, reading, writing into the file, and how to create the directories, remove the directories, all these things. So in this lecture we are going to see about the operations related to the files and as well as how do you open, create and remove the directories. How to open a file? It's very simple in Python. Just give open and followed by the file name. F equal to open, the file name is specified within the bracket, that is test.txt. So what it will do is, it will just open the file text.txt from the current directory. The another way of doing this is F equal to open out. You can specify the full path of the file name if the file is available in the different directory. General syntax of creating the opening the file is open the file name, comma, the mode. The mode specifies in which mode you are going to open your file, read mode, write mode, etc. So in the next slide you will see about the modes. So these are all some of the modes in which you can open the file in the Python. So if I specify R in the place of mode, it indicates that you are going to open the file in the read mode. That is, you are able to only read the file, you cannot write into the file. If you try to write into the file, it will show you an error. If I specify W in the mode, it says that the file is open for writing. In case if the file is not available already, it will create the new file, and if the file is available already, it will truncate the file, that is, it will delete the entire contents of the file if the file is already available. The next mode is X. It will open the file in the exclusive mode. In case if the file is already exists, the operation gets failed. So it will open a new file in the exclusive mode. The next mode is append. So if I open this file in this mode, it will start writing the data at the end of the file. It will not delete any data if the data is already available in the file. And if the file is not available, it will create the new file. Next mode is T. That is, this is the default mode in which you will open the files, that is a text mode. Next one is B, that is whenever you write images or audio files or video files, then you will go for this mode, that is open in binary mode. You will be able to open the files in the binary mode. The next one is plus. When I specify plus, it shows that I am going to open a file for updating both read and write. So this small example shows you how to open and close the files. The first line shows you that open test.txt, that is a simple open file, which is equivalent to test.txt, comma R or RT. That is, the first statement is equivalent to opening a file in read mode or read mode with text, that is I am going to open a text file in the read mode. The second statement, f equal to open of test.txt comma w, it indicates that the file is going to open in the write mode. The next one, open image.bmp comma r plus b. Here I am going to open the image file image.bmp in the read mode, and as well as plus indicates the write mode also. So read and write, I am going to open the file in the binary mode. So R indicates read and plus indicates read and write, and B indicates the binary mode. So these are some of the examples which shows you how to open the files in different modes. So at last we are going to close the file with the help of a simple close statement f.close. So that will close the file. The next one we'll see about how to write into the file. So first open the file in the write mode, open test.txt comma w. So that will open the file in the write mode. So the next 3 lines I am going to write something into the file. f.write, I am writing in my first line, that is this is my first file, then I am writing a new line character. The second write statement, I am writing this file, then I am writing 2 new line character. The third line I am writing contains 3 lines, then you have a new line character. So totally the contents of the file looks like this. This is my first file. The next line I have this file, then you will have 2 new lines, then you will have contains 3 lines. So this is the content of the file. Now how do you read the data whatever you have written now from the file? So first open the file test.txt in the read mode. Previously I have opened in the write mode, that is W. I have written something into the file. Now I am going to read from the file with the help of R, that is a read mode. I am going to read the data. So like a write function, you have a read function here, so that will read the data. So f.read 4, what is that 4? The 4 indicates the number of data that you are going to read from the file. So 4 indicates the number of letters that I am going to read from the file. So f.read of 4 will read 4 characters from the file and it will show you the output. So this, that is my output, because this is the first word I have written into the file. So next time I am giving the same function f.read of 4. So what it will do is, it will, from the current position, it will read 4 more characters. So my output is space I, S, then space. So is, that is my output. So this is the first 4 letters, then next 4 letters space I, S, then space. So that is the next 4 letters. So that will read the next 4 data. So in the next statement I am giving f.read without any numbers, without any number of characters. So this function will read the data in the file from the current position to the till the end of the file. So my output is my first file, then /n, this file /n contains 3 lines /n. So from the current position it will read the entire contents till the end of the file. Then we'll see about ftell and fseek. So ftell will tell you where the current file cursor is available, that is where the current file position is available. The fseek, what it will do is, it will go to the corresponding cursor position where you specify. So if I give f.tell after reading the entire contents of the file, it will give you the cursor position as the end of the file. That is, for example, in the previous example, this is my first file. This file contains 3 lines. For example, this file consists of 56 characters. My current file position will be 56. Now I am going to move this cursor file pointer to my beginning of the file. So that can be done with the help of seek function. F dot seek of 0. When I specify 0, it will move to the beginning of the file. For example, if I specify f dot seek of 10, then it will move to the 10th character from the beginning of the file. So here I am using f dot seek of 0, so that will move my file cursor to the beginning of the file. Now I am giving the statement f dot read. So what it will do is it will read the entire contents of the file, and that contents will be printed with the help of the print statement. So my output is, this is my first file, this file contains 3 lines. So that is my output. How do you read the data from the file line by line? So that is possible with the help of the read line function. F dot read line, so that will read the data line by line from the file. So first time when I am using the f dot read line function, it will read the first line. So my first line is, this is my first file. Second time I am using the same function read line, so this will read this file. So because that is my second line in the file. The next time I am using the same function, so my output is contains 3 lines, so that is the third line of my file. In the next line I am going to, this is the read line function will read the data line by line from the file. Then another function called read lines, which will read the lines data from the files one line by line, and it will store each line as an element into the list. For example, I have 3 lines in my file, so these 3 lines will be read as the lines and it will be stored into the list. See here, my output looks like this. I have a list, so the first element into the list is my first line, the second element is my second line, the third element into the list is my third line. So the read lines function will read the data from the file line by line, and each line will be considered as the element into the list. So my output will be in terms of the list. And what are the file operations that can be done using Python? So we can rename the file, like we already saw about how to open a file, close the file, read the file, write the file. Beyond this, we have the options to rename the file and we can delete the file. So what is the function to rename the file is os dot rename the original file name, that is the test1.txt, and the new file name test2.txt. Here we need a package called OS. This package supports these functions related to the files, that is like renaming a file and removing a file. All these operations are available within this package called OS. So you will have to import that package, import OS, and then you will have to access these functions rename and remove from this package by prefixing the OS package. OS dot rename the old file name and new file name, so that will rename the file. The next os dot remove, specify the file name, so that will remove the file and that will delete the file. The next one we are going to see about the operations related to the directory. So here also you need the help of the OS package. So all the operations related to the directory we are going to do with the help of the OS package. So os dot mkdir, that is a make directory. So these are all the commands which is similar to your DOS commands, which you might be aware of. So os dot mkdir, which will make, that is which will create the new directory with the help of the name specified within the bracket, that is the test. So it will create the directory called test. Then the next one is chdir, change directory. So os.chdir, you specify the new directory name to which you want to change. That is, from the current directory it will change to the new directory. The next one is get cwd, os.getcwd, that is the get current working directory. That will give you the current location of the directory. That will give you the location of the working directory in which you are currently working in. The last one is rmdir, that is remove directory. So os.rmdir, that will remove the directory which is specified within the bracket. So here I have specified temp.test, that is a directory. So that command will remove the directory called test. So these are all some of the operations that can be performed on the files and directories. So that's all about this lecture. See you in my next lecture. Thank you. Bye.